Thank you for checking out the videos this week, ending February 28th of the Turn Academy. Hope you all enjoyed it. Have a good week. Enjoy the videos. Let's watch this swing in slow-mo. On the plane. On the plane. A little over the top of the plane, but not bad. Now, the reason she didn't catch it solid is because she was a little above the plane. She's playing a one-plane swing. Obviously, the club is higher now than it was at setup, coming into the ball position. See what she does there. Catches it just a little thin. I'm going to blow this up a little bit so you can see. We're only talking a little bit here. Just a hair. Let's go back to the setup position. Plus the ball's sitting down in a divot, which makes it a little extra tough. You can see she's going to touch the grass on the way back. She misses it on the way forward. One of the toughest things to control in the golf swing is where's the bottom of your swing. She does a good job of controlling the plane, stays in the shot pretty good, a little lifting right there on the backswing. Let's just see how much lifting there is. We'll just draw a little circle around her head and see if she stays in the circle. Not bad, not bad, not bad. A little bit up, a little down. So it's just a bare miss just by you missing the plane. So work real hard if you're going to swing on a one-plane setup. And what that means is that the hands, arms, club shaft are all in the same line of setup. You want to make sure you maintain that and stay relaxed and keep it on that plane. Good luck. Just before we videotape this, this golfer and I spoke a little bit about the weight transfer, how to rotate and end up strongly on your front side. I'm going to draw in what we call the power line. That's what we're going to try to move the right side to without letting the left side or the lead side get off the line. So let's watch this swing in slow motion. Moved off it a little bit there, but not bad. Got to it, and then look at the rotation and the finish. That's picture perfect. She did a great job there. And that was only her second or third try after we talked about making the rotation onto the lead side. Her distance picked up, her accuracy picked up. Mostly good things happen when you do it that way. Good job. We looked at this golfer earlier, but I'm going to play another video of him because he's struggling with some of the same things most of my students struggle with, and that's hitting the driver solid. And again, like you saw in his previous video, he's going to come a little bit over the top. Let's go ahead and go in slow motion. Smooth takeaway, and then slam it over the top. And off to the right it goes. If you look, we'll just go back to the setup. Be pretty quick. We'll just draw the swing plane in, and you'll see how he comes over the top of it right there. Now he sets himself up to do that in his setup and in the motion of his legs. Notice that the left knee goes snapping backwards and the right knee slides towards the golf ball. I think what I'd like to see is the left knee move a little bit over the left toes and try to get the right knee to go directly to the left knee. In order to do that, I can't be opening my hips on the way down. What I've got to do is I've got to let my hips move towards the target and then reroute my elbow down in front of my lead hip, which he doesn't do. Comes out way over the top. Slams down. Happens to get a good shot off here, but most of us don't want to take a big divot with our driver. This golfer has what I like to call an old school swing done poorly. The old school is not in his setup. Old school was very much a straight back, head up, chin up. I should be able to see his face where the camera is. The camera's at about a level with his hands. So he's got his head and everything bent over so far. What that creates is an axle, which is your spine, that's bent. And we know that a bent axle doesn't roll very good. The other thing we're going to watch when we play this in slow motion is all the activity that goes on. Years ago, that we had a lot more movement than we have in our swings now. Let me get rid of that. I didn't mean to do that. What we did years ago is we talked about swinging making our swing inside of a box or a barrel. So I'm going to set this box up and let's see what the swing does. And we're going to see a lot of movement here, old school movement. Left knee is going to fly towards the right knee a lot. He's going to slide out of the box, collapse, go back through, and not ever slide to the front side. And by that I mean what he's done here is he's actually leaning forward at finish. At the finish, we'd like you straight up and down, brace solidly over that left leg with the hips forward, not back like this. Let's clear the line out of the way, and I'll just draw a line up where he probably was at setup. We'll back up to that. And there he is, at setup. He's got the hands pushed pretty far forward. His head is on the yellow line, the power line. He's going to sway well off the power line on the way back. The center of his body is moving way off, collapsing both the left knee and the left arm. See that right there? And then he's going to try to replant the left foot. Notice how far off the ground the left foot is. That was an old style to generate some speed. Arnold Palmer was not an advocate of it, but you certainly saw Jack Nicklaus do it a lot in the old days. Now he's in a pretty good position right here. He's done a good job, but he's still kind of bound up because of the bent spine. So as he comes through, he's got a great job of rotating his hands through, but he can't really rotate the lower body all the way around. So he never really gets straight up and down, excuse me, straight up and down on the power line. We're going to work on that. Maybe the first thing I'd like to do would be to work a little on the setup with this golfer. I'd like to see a straighter back, not all the curves you see here. He's not the youngest person in the world, neither am I, but we can work on getting our back straighter, which puts a lot of strain on it when it's this bent. The other thing we're going to see is that he's worked so hard on keeping his head down that he's tense. The head has to come up. When you finish your golf swing, you have to be relaxed enough. You can stand up and come out of your posture and end standing tall, fully erect, facing the target. In slow motion, you'll see that he does a great job of keeping his head down. But that's probably the worst advice ever given to a golfer, and it's very rarely given by a teacher. It's usually given by a fellow golfer. So we see he's still trying to keep his head down. He's losing his balance. What we want to be able to do is turn into the shot so that the club is exited more on the golf plane. And by that I mean the golf plane are two lines, and I'll draw those in. One line is the golf shaft. The other line is parallel to the golf shaft. That's your shoulder turn. Now the shoulder turns and points about, a foot or so, maybe more, outside the golf ball. So we'll see on his turn, he's working really hard to keep his head down. He's getting a pretty decent turn there. The right shoulder needs to come up. But look what the elbow is doing. Instead of the elbow staying down and tucked, now he's got this really big gap between the elbows. See how wide that gap is? It's from here to here. That's a long ways. At setup, he's only a few inches apart. We want to keep that structure. That's why the left elbow's bending so much. He's out of position. Now he is back on plane, but now look, the swing is way up on the top plane, over the top, even higher than over the top now. Comes in and then pulls the club hard to the left, trying to get back to the plane he was on at setup. And then he's going to fall over to the right. We're going to work on letting him be a lot more relaxed and try to swing onto a plane. The things you need to control in the golf swing is the path of the swing, very important, the face of the club, the pace you're swinging at, and where's the bottom of your swing. He's struggling with two of those, path and face. Here we have another golfer with a hyperactive left leg. The grip's pretty good, the setup's pretty good. I'd like to see his lead side be more on a straight line. That means a line going up his leg. His shoulder should be on that line. So he's tilted a little bit more in that direction from the waist over, from the hips over. If you think about it, that would create a nice straight line between your chin and where your hands join. So let's clear everything out of the way. At setup, there should be a straight line. Let's use a straighter line than that one. I don't draw straight. From your chin to the golf ball. If the shoulders were perpendicular to that, the hands would be up there. You could still be facing center instead of facing the ball. You would have a better chance of hitting the ball straight as well as coming at it from the inside. So what we're going to see is this hyperactive knee right here as he swings in slow motion. It's swaying off. The whole body's swaying off. He's not really rotating. Makes pretty good contact. Comes up pretty high on a finish. But he really never got anything over to the lead side in terms of momentum. You can tell that if you look at the toes on the trail foot. They're bent. I think it was maybe Freddie Couples, one of the older golfers, has been around a while. Lee Trevino, that's who it was, said never golf with someone who's got the top of his shoe worn out, because he's getting into a good position. Where the toe is bent like this, that's not a good position. It means you haven't really rotated. There's still pressure there. We need to get that right knee all the way to the left knee, even kissing the left knee, or even a little past it is okay. Here we have a new golfer. She'd hit a couple of clubs before, she says, but today was her first day. We set her up with a basic grip. We're playing her a little bit on a single plane setup because that seems to be easier. She's got a nice straight back. Let's go ahead and draw the spine angle in. And the club angle. So it's not too bad. We'd like to see it 90 degrees, but that's pretty close, especially for a beginner. Now let's play this swing in slow motion. Taking it back a little bit above the plane, but not bad. Back down, under the plane, right on through. And knocks her hat off. Oh, it's pretty windy out there. That's a good swing, especially for a beginner. I like that. I like that move right here. Not everybody can do that, you know. Put the hat back on from behind. That's a good swing. If we look closely, and what we'll do is we'll clear it out. We'll try to find out why that ball is going so far to the right. So we'll take that takeaway again. See, it's a little lift. Remember, the takeaway needs to stay low to the ground as long as you can. Imagine there's another golf ball about right in here somewhere. You're going to go back and push that ball away off the ground. She's going to come way up over the top of that make-believe golf ball. She's coming down, coming into the moment of truth. Look how wide open the club face is. That's going to make it very difficult. A lot of rotation has to take place. The pros can do that because they have good timing. I'd like to see us starting the club closing earlier on the way down. Still open, still open. A little on the toe, see that? A toe hit is always going to go off to the right. And the club was open. You can see how much even torque it had. See that at the impact? How much that opened the club face? See how open it is? That's what happens. That's the club shaft actually torquing from the toe hit, shooting a low shot off to the right. And there goes the hat. Pretty good job, actually. Let's put the hat back on. Nice job. This golfer has a tendency to pull. And if you look at his setup, you can see why. He's actually aimed, he wanted to be aimed down the tree line about over here somewhere, but he's aimed way to the right in reality. So let's watch the takeaway. The club starts back. Right here we see an issue. It's hard to see. I'm going to blow it up. Notice how the thumb is right on top of the club. That puts a leverage in the wrong direction. The thumb needs to be on the leading edge of the club so that our torque allows us to rotate the club through impact, so we don't slice do a pull slice. All right, so we're going to go on back. Pretty good swing. Pretty good rotation. Pretty good there. Pulling up and out of the shot. There's the problem because he's so far to the right. He's going to catch it out on the toe, and off it goes with his big slice. There it goes. So we can see he's got a couple things going on. He's getting a toe hit. Blow it up for you. Toe hit. Face is open. Toe hit, and club's going hard across the ball. It's not coming from the inside and going down the line. It's coming from the outside and cutting across, cutting in that direction. That's the inside line for a left-hander. So we're going to change his thumb position so he's more in a grip mode with the trail forefinger. But he's got some really good skills and good athletic ability. It's fun. We have talked a lot about the 144 degree tour angle, it's called. Some research was done and discovered that the average tour player sets up at a 144 degree angle from his forearms to the golf shaft. They've even come out with a training aid called the TA-144. This golfer's pretty close to that. He's got a pretty good setup. He's starting in a really good spot. Let's get everything out of the way, and let's just watch the swing. In fact, let's watch this one in full motion. Not bad tempo, huh? What did you notice? It's one of the reasons why I slow it down. It's so hard to see what all happens at the speed a golfer swings. That swing is going to take maybe a second from the time he takes it away to the time he makes impact. So let's go ahead and hit slow motion and watch this swing, and we'll stop right there. He's a little out of position. That's hard to see at full speed, but the hands are lifted too high and the club face is a little bit closed. I'd like to see a little bit more toe up, and the club face needs to be down here blocking our view of the hands. So he's raising his club a little bit. Let's get that out of the way and continue on. So what's happening, because the club is out of position, it's getting too upright. At about this point here, when we hinge, we want to see the club angled down to the target line. His is down to his toes. That's going to create some lack of efficiency as well as a bad path. So he's not able to have the correct path to the ball, which includes the angle of attack as well as the path around your body. So we're going to get rid of that. Going to move him down a little bit. We're going to let the toe come up. In order for the toe to come up, the back of the left hand has to be pointing more out in front of him, and the right elbow needs to be down a little bit. See, the right elbow's up too much. Still got a closed club face. Now he's coming over the top. Never really let the club hinge, did he? At this point now, the butt of the club, the end of the club, should be pointing at the camera. So he's coming down, coming in. And here we have another toe hitter. See that? Well, you can really see when you do this too, how important it is to catch the sweet spot of the club face. He's going to catch that, and boy, it just whips the club open, doesn't it? No wonder they're going to the right and slicing. It's so hard to compensate for that. That's why you're seeing a lot of the amateur clubs are very toe weighted, so the weight of the toe goes through the ball. He might be better off actually putting some lead tape out on the toe of his ball, but more importantly, learn how to swing so you catch the ball on the sweet spot. There's some drills for that. One is to build a gate using a couple of tees that you swing right between them and never hit either one. I like to call this kind of a golfer a happy feet golfer. The feet dance around a little bit. He's not deriving any power off the ground. All he's doing is basically lifting his right foot off the ground instead of pushing into the ground. Believe it or not, on the down part and the forward part of the swing, we should be pushing off the ground, feeling like we're driving our feet into the ground, especially our right foot, in order to get some momentum and some good torque with our body to move the ball with the force of our turn, not with just swinging our arms at it. So I'm going to take this back pretty slow. See how soon his right foot gets active. See, the left foot's active already. See that left foot's coming off the ground. Little happy foot there. Now he's going to start down. Oh, look at that. Before he even starts going down, he's taking his foot off the ground. Slipping. You cannot be driving off that back foot. As a matter of fact, both heels are off the ground at this point right here. Both heels up on his toes. He's straight up and down. He doesn't drive anything with his lower body. Now he's got great hand-eye coordination. He gets into a really good position right there. So it's telling you that he's really worked hard on the upper body, but he's ignored the lower body. Now the interesting thing about the lower body is we spend a lot more time walking on our feet than we do on our hands. The legs are strong. They're used to being on the ground. We derive all of our power in the golf swing from the ground. This is trying to drive it from the body up. And that's why the ball's not getting in the air. Now, we've seen a lot of toe hitters today. I think this one's going to be a heel hitter because of the way he's moving onto his toes. So let's bring the club in for impact. Let's see where it's going to hit. Yep, toe, heel, I mean. The heel is going to whip the club around. Watch this. Remember how on the toe hits we saw the club open? Now you see the club torquing closed right away. It actually twists the club head. You're hitting it with a lot of force, and it's going to affect the club, especially with less expensive graphite shafts. The real expensive ones don't torque as much, but you're still better off learning how to hit the center of the club face with the ball, or hit the ball with the center of the club face, I guess is the right way to say it. That deserves lots and lots and lots of practice. Best way to practice that again is without a golf ball. Put a tee, two tees in the ground, just a little bit further apart than the head of your club, and learn to swing between them. The swing is the thing, not the hit. This golfer's not in too bad of a setup. Her hands may be a little bit far away, but anatomically we're all different. I mean, I have a big belly, so I have to do things different. My back won't let me bend over, but she's in a really good position. I wouldn't try to correct that at all. I may want her to lift her head up a little bit so there's room between her chest and her chin for the shoulder to go. So her head's bent a little bit. So I'd like to see maybe the head pointing a little bit more in that direction, a little more upright, the bill of the cap a little bit more upright. But it's really not too bad. What happens in her swing, though, is that she's going to bunch all up as she comes into impact. Watch this in slow motion. Takeaway looks pretty good, maybe a little too far behind. Here's all this bunching up. See how the elbows come in? Everything's all bound up. At this point, it would be all right if the left arm was long. It'd be over the top. The left arm should be up here somewhere, which means she'd be coming from the inside. And once again, we have one of these toe hitters. See that? And look at the club face. It's really amazing. And that's what's cool about these better cameras today. We can actually see the club torque, twist when we hit it. It's going to go to the right. The twist is like bouncing it. It ain't going to go anywhere, is it? It doesn't have any power because the thing you're hitting with is moving backwards. Off to the right it goes. So we're going to work really hard on letting her maintain her posture, and we'll show you how far she moved. That was her setup. We'll move quickly to impact. See how she's all jumped up now. The head's up. Notice that? The head's up where we wanted it before. See, let's go back. Not bad. All right. So, learn to hit it through the gate. Learn to maintain your posture. This golfer's worked really hard on her swing, and she has an issue that sneaks back in because it's what she did when she first started, I think maybe 4 years ago, and that's taking the club way back to the inside. If you think about it, we'd like to see the head of the club stay right around this yellow line all the way back. She gets so far behind her on the backswing that it's parallel to the ground and pointing straight behind her. Watch this. That's pretty far behind. There's a lot of flexibility in there. Sometimes the flexibility isn't necessarily our friend. Now, if she would hinge at this point, so at least you got the club coming up, kind of on this line here, it'd be better off. But she goes straight, keeps it real flat, lifts up and out of the shot. Oh boy, that's a lot of flexibility. Comes back down under the table very nicely, right on through, and makes a pretty good impact. Probably a little out on the toe because we're looking at the ball flight. She makes it to a great finish position. But if she can work on that takeaway, it's going to be a lot more repeatable. Let's see where the ball's hitting. I love to see the impact position. Let's blow it up so we get a good view. Yes, ma'am, it's going to look like it's going to be a little out on the toe, doesn't it? Yep. So she's pulled in a little bit. And notice the torque right there. You see the club open right there. You see that? The twist it makes? Boink. That's what we have to get rid of. Learn to hit the center of the club, folks. This golfer is everything unique. He's got his own setup, his own stance. Everything is really his, and it works. But what he has that he shares with every quality golfer out there is a repeatable rhythm. And his rhythm is pretty much in the 4-4 time all good golfers play in. 1, 2, 3 on the way back, 1 on the way down, 4-4 time. Let's watch this swing. We're not going to watch it in slow motion. We're going to watch it in fast motion, just so you can see the results of a smooth swing. 1, 2. Nothing fancy, not a lot of extra movement. What's that Paul Simon song, One Trick Pony? He does that one trick with ease. Al's got this down. It's fun to watch. He'll never be the longest hitter. But I'll tell you, on his scrambles team, he's the one down the middle, chipping a putt for you every time. Look at the low, slow takeaway. Smooth rhythm, not a lot of movement, right on through, rotates good, and relaxes. I like the swing. If he was 6 years old, we'd probably work on some things. All I want him to do is just stay in that balanced position. The only time he gets himself into trouble is when he bounces up on his toes, which you see he has done here. Notice, he's that far into his finish and the right foot still hasn't come off the ground. Mo Norman was like that. I think a lot of our golfers get that foot off the ground way too soon. In fact, you saw one earlier, if you watched all the videos. Or maybe it'll be later. I'm not sure what order they're going to be in. I think it's earlier. But, check out our Players Club. Great deal. I hope to see you next week. Have a good day.